This is the Guns Magazine podcast, episode number 74. Hi there, and welcome to the Guns Magazine podcast. I'm your host and the editor of Guns Magazine, Brent T. Thanks for joining us for this special breaking news episode as we talk to the interesting people who make up the world of shooting, hunting, and the firearms industry. But before we get started, let's talk about our sponsor, Berger Bullets. Berger builds match-grade rifle bullets and ammunition for target, hunting, and tactical shooting applications. Proudly made in Mesa, Arizona, Berger uses the highest quality materials, tooling, and production processes to build the world's most accurate bullets and ammunition. Berger is unequaled by the competition and has established more long-range world records than all other manufacturers combined. To find out why our nation's elite operators, competitive shooters, and hunters all trust Berger to shoot better, visit your favorite retailer to experience Berger's uncompromising quality or learn more at bergerbullets.com. Today's episode came as a result of a listener's question. Our listener Randy asked if I could talk to Gunsite CEO Ken Campbell about how the ammunition shortages are affecting the firearms training industry. So I called Ken up and we talked about that, and as is typical, we also wandered off into the weeds just a couple of times. Ken also gave the Guns Magazine podcast a world-exclusive scoop by announcing that famed pistolsmith and former Guns podcast guest, Bobby Tyler, has joined with up-and-comer Dave Fink to open a new gunsmith shop at Gunsite Academy. You can check out that announcement toward the end of the episode. Now, it's on with the show as I talk to Ken Campbell about White Castle hamburgers, toilet paper shortages, and, oh yeah, how ammunition shortages are affecting the training industry. Well, good morning, Mr. Campbell.
Terry, good morning.
Well, how is it in the free state of Arizona?
Life is grand here in the high desert of northern Arizona at Gunsite. It's 69 degrees. No, it's 55 degrees outside, going to 75. Life is better than I deserve.
Well, very cool. And we just found out we're going to be out there, it looks like, in June for some fun stuff. So we'll probably record a new podcast episode while I'm out there dodging the scorpions and the tarantulas. So,
well, we'll be doubling the guard at the gate now that we know you and the young and lovely Mrs. Weeder are will be in transit. So,
well, enough of the obligatory small talk. Let's get to our topic, and it was suggested by a reader. The reader wrote in and said, "So, how are trainers dealing with this ammunition shortage? Because bottom line is no ammo, no training, and training is what you guys are all about. So how has this affected what's going on out there?"
Well, it's kind of a long walk on a short pier here. We learned during the Obama administration, when ammo became premium, that we can't let this happen again. And we started buying inventory a year ahead. Now, Gunsite goes through millions of rounds of ammo every year, literally. So we carried a lot of inventory in that secret bunker that you spoke of. But about last June, we bought from Freedom Group, Remington. And about last June, I thought I'd better order 2022, seeing what's happening here. So I did. And a couple weeks later, I hadn't heard anything. So I got a hold of Remington under Freedom Group and said, "Hey, when am I going to get the rest of my 2020 ammo? When can we expect the delivery of 2022? Because that's been pending. And what about nobody's acknowledged my 2022 ammo order?" "Well, we're in bankruptcy proceedings." I said, "Well, I know, but you're still for sale. We're not making any ammo until the first of the year." Well, that took some wind out of my sails, being the polite way to say it. And I said, well, it'd been nice if somebody let us know. So we also were partnered, fortunately, with Double Tap Ammunition, Mike McNett out of Utah. And we don't want to have all our eggs in one basket. And Double Tap is a tremendous manufacturer of ammunition. If you've ever bought Colt or you've bought SIG ammunition, it's Double Tap. good quality stuff. And we've been working with them for a few years also, buying some of our ammo for them. And I've got to say that Mike McNett stepped up big time with us since we were running out of the other ammo. And Mike has kept us going all these months. Now, I don't have a year's worth of ammo in stock. I've got about a month's worth of ammo in stock. And every Monday morning, I get a written report as to what, after we sold our ammo to the students for their classes, what my inventory is. And I use 9mm as the benchmark because that's what we sell more of. And just for example, Brent, in the month of March, just March, and let me back up here a minute. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I know you find that hard to believe. We only sell ammo packages. That is, if you take a 250 pistol class, it takes 1,000 rounds of ball and 50 rounds of frangible, and that's the only way we sell ammo. You can't come in and pull 5 boxes off the shelf in the Gunsite Pro Shop and buy that. We only sell ammo packages. 165,000 rounds of 9mm in March.
Yeah.
That's what we sold.
And not to interrupt, but to clarify, students don't have to buy from you, but probably the majority do, because it's a lot easier, especially if you're flying, than trying to ship or do whatever. And you charge, a reasonable price. There's no huge markup. So the majority of students buy their ammo once they get there so they don't have to deal with it. And I would assume that that number has gone up to near 100%. So anyway, I wanted to clarify that before we moved on.
No, that's a good point. And what we do is when you enroll for your class, you can say, do I want to buy the ammo package? Or do I want to, you can buy from Acme Ammunition and have it shipped here, or you can ship it yourself, whatever works for you. And it was about 50% of the students would buy our ammo. We weren't the greatest bargain in the world, but we weren't the highest price either. It's like going to the golf club pro shop. Right? You're going to pay a little more because you're there. So now we're seeing 98% of our students are doing that. But, for example, a box, if I break down the ammo package in 9mm per box, it's about $18 a box. You go find me a box of 9mm on a store shelf at $18 a box right now.
Exactly.
You can't. So now, we've done real well trying to keep our head above water on all this, but now we've had to make some restrictions. For instance, I had to buy some 223 ammo. We've got a 223 carbine class starting next Monday, and I didn't have enough to make all the ammo packages. So I'm shopping around because I don't want our students have to pay $1 a round for 223, and that's what it was going for. So I ended up buying 50,000 rounds of an off-brand at 73 cents a round, which just killed me. Because what that did to these poor folks in the class, it raised their ammo package $700. And that's hard for me to say, hey, Brent, I know you're going to be here in 6 weeks, but, oh, by the way, you owe me $700 more. Or if you're more than welcome to find your ammo, we'll refund the money that you paid toward your ammo package. So our pistol ammo, we also had to increase some, but we raised it 10%. So, but we're still, that's where I got that $18 number. It's about $18 a box. And we told folks, look, I'm sorry we had to raise this. It increased the package of an ammo package about anywhere from $33 to $50, depending on the caliber.
Yeah. Nobody's
complained about that because, we're being as fair as we can about it. And even the folks in the increase on the 223 class, we said, listen, this is what it is. And I don't know what more we can do.
Yeah.
So we're working hard to find ammo at the best price. Now, Remington is back making ammo again. I go to sleep at night thinking about ammo, and I wake up darn near thinking about ammo and, what it's costing, where I'm going to get it, and so on. So Remington ammo is now Vista, which is also Federal and somebody else. And they're back making ammo the last 8 weeks or so. And we've been working with them and the new company and getting everything all approved. And I've got about, give or take, about 2 million rounds of ammo on order with them. And that's in all calibers. And they've been really good to work with. And if things go as planned, I should receive about 250,000 rounds of 223 in April. I'm not getting any 9 yet. We're working with them on that.
I was going to say, are you waiting for them to arrange the armed guard to bring the ammo to you?
Yeah, that's no kidding, with the helicopter overwatch. And
you kind of touched on it, but we've talked before. How much of your time now do you spend scrounging for ammo?
Yeah, we do. I hate to use the word scrounging, but I'm just hunting from, and we've got good, reliable.
Ken, come on, I know you. You're scrounging.
Industry partners. So, but when it's Gunsite, and we've been in business over 45 years, people know who we are.
Sure.
And they want us. They know what we do, and they realize we're also not gonna jack the price up on the customer just because we can. Just because a box of 9mm balls bringing $45 at the gun show, that's not what we're doing. Our tuition's high. We know that, but you get what you pay for. You want to come to Disneyland with guns, it's going to cost more. You're not going to the county fair here. So we're trying to keep that ammo price down, and I really think the vendors know that, Remington, Vista, and certainly Double Tap. But I can't sing enough praise of Mike McNett and Double Tap, though. Yeah. They have kept us going the last several months and continue to, and I'm expecting another big load of 9mm to come in and under clandestine operation in the dark of night under heavy guard.
I was going to say, I know, and maybe you didn't want to talk about this, but you've actually had to buy some ammo privately from folks that might have had, a few extra lying around.
I have. I've bought from instructors and from other students that's factory ammo, and I'm also, for factory ammo, for a reasonable price, I'll trade them out for classes if they want to apply it toward tuition, and that works out well. But again, I'm not going to give them the buck around type thing for it. I'm going to give them what I'm paying for ammo. So I'm trading apples with apples here. But our clients have been really good with this ammo issue, but Gunsite's got the best clients in the world.
My favorite story so far, and I think we've talked about it once before, is you've now briefed students that come Thursday afternoon, they're not supposed to ask for more ammo, right? Can't say they shot all their...
Exactly, yeah. And in prior years, especially if we had a smaller class, you're going to be able to shoot more because it's a smaller class. And, come Thursday, hey, head on in the pro shop. You can buy another 200 or 300 rounds. Well, we are very clear in our Monday morning brief with all the instructors, stay within the ammo package. And that's not hard to do. I mean, dry practice is a good thing. In my first class out here at Gunsite with Jeff Cooper in 1990, I shot less than 600 rounds in 5.5 days. And there was a tremendous amount of dry practice. And proper dry practice is a great way to make you a better shooter. So we use dry practice. Also, in some of the advanced classes, we'll use a little more simunitions or airsoft as we're doing the tactical training in there. And that's fruitful. So we've not slowed down or dumbed down. We've just had to be a little more creative. But certainly the pro shop knows the student can't come in on Thursday morning and say, I've shot all my ammo package. Could I have 500 more rounds?
Exactly. No flounder, you cannot.
Simply is, no, you may not. Please step back because you're within throat punch range.
Exactly.
We'd love to do that, but we can't. Now, one other change we've made. One of the cool things we do here, and probably the greatest bargain at Gunsite, is called range day. Once you've taken a pistol class or a carbine class, every other month or so we'll do what's called range day, which you pay for, and it's an all-day event, and it's not open range. We don't do that. But it's an all-day class, and it's shooting steel and paper and really working on your drills. And you'll shoot, maybe up to 300 rounds in that day. But we also, twice a year, offer what's called steel range day. And every target that you're shooting at is steel. And gosh, you know how much fun that is.
Yeah.
And the immediate gratification. But your round count goes way up. So what we've had to do on the steel range days, we've said, look, folks, we can't sell you ammo for this class. The round count is going to be 500 plus We know how you shoot, and we just can't do that because we have to focus on these 250 pistol students that are coming in. We really kind of were concerned about a year ago when the pandemic first hit, and our numbers were dropping off. People were afraid to travel and so on. Well, we ended up, after all, with another record student year last year. The last third of the year was tremendous. So that's 5 record student years in a row. But with 7 million plus new gun owners, God bless them, many of them are getting training.
Yep.
Thank goodness. And so that also attributes to some of the ammo shortage, too. 7 million gun owners, everybody buys 2 boxes of ammo. That wasn't ammo that was projected to sell.
Yep.
So we're seeing a tremendous, and this year will be another record year again. I mean, barring the Biden administration coming in and trying to do something unconstitutional to us that gets tied up in the courts. That's the nicest way I can say that. We're going to have another record student year. So we've told the students, like this Steel Range Day, we have to focus on these new shooters, and we think you understand that. And again, we've got great students here, great Gunsite family, and nobody complained. No, we understand. We'll find our own ammo.
Part of my job, friendship or not, I got to ask some tough questions, and I want to put you a little bit on the spot here. And I know you'll be very circumspect because I know your philosophy about talking about your the people in the industry. But what's your thoughts? Because I've heard quite a bit of people saying, well, this class or this school is dramatically reducing round counts. You guys are not. So what's your thoughts on that? Okay.
Well, we're the big dog in the game, right? Gunsite's been here for over 45 years. So we're well established. We know our lesson plans work. We've never been one for a mad minute on the range or where we're wasting ammunition. If there's no principle or learning objective behind pressing the trigger, we're not going to. So our round counts in our classes are very well established. Now, as to the others, if they're reducing their round count, I understand because they're trying to save their students money. When you're paying $1 a round for 9mm ball, or the same thing for 45 ball, that's hard on the client. So they're trying to keep them in mind too. There are good things you can do. I was in a revolver class last January, and we were doing a lot of ball and dummy. Where you load the cylinder partially, and there's good training exercises there, even though the gun didn't go bang. So I'm not trying to talk around your answer. High round count isn't always the answer. I've been to some classes, and you've been there with me, where we were shooting like crazy.
As fast as you can, basically.
Yeah, but what did we really learn from that?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's better to shoot a little less. It's quality, not quantity. So I hope with the folks that are reducing their round count, I hope that's enhancing the quality of the training that they're providing the students.
Makes complete sense. Now I want to get into the, I'm going to cause the hair on the back of your neck to stand up. And you've done a great job of working with the industry partners. And even though you hate the word scrounging, you've scrounged far and wide for ammo. But I know you, and I know you've made plans. What happens if the ammo runs out? What do you guys plan on doing?
That will be a terrifying day if that happens.
And let me clarify, it's probably not just going to flat run out, but the day where the Connex boxes are empty and you're halfway through the week and nobody has any more ammo.
Well, if that's what it comes to, hopefully we'll have planned enough ahead where we're buying the ammo at a higher price and making it available to the students at that higher price, as much as we hate to do that. I don't think it's going to come to that. I think now with Remington back online making ammo, I'm seeing ammo prices go down some from the level we purchase at. It's the off brands that are dropping in price, which means the others are going to follow.
Yeah.
So if that, and I also know that there's another major manufacturer that is building a primer plant, and I can't discuss which one it is,
Sure.
but I know they're doing that. And that's the big weak link in the supply chain. And I know they're working as hard and as fast as they can to get this all done. So with Remington back making ammo again, I think we're going to see more ammo in the pipeline. And I think that's going to reflect on the prices. And for the folks that are listening here, be commonsensical about buying your ammo. It's like toilet paper a year ago. Do you really need 5 of the big mega packs from Costco? I mean,
yeah.
are you gonna go to the bathroom that much?
Well, if you go to White Castle, never mind. We won't go there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've done that at 2 a.m. more than once on duty. and
Ixnay on the Ories stay.
Pardon?
Speaking Pig Latin, Ixnay on the Ories stay.
Yeah. There was a White Castle processing plant there in the county seat where you were a police officer and I was sheriff, and we always joked that there's the hazmat flag always flying over the White Castle processing plant.
Exactly. And there's a big windsock out there. What happens when the wind's out of the south?
Yeah. So anyway, I don't think we're going to quite get to that. We hope not. I've got contingency plans on, a few thousand rounds here, a few thousand rounds there as I can get them. And I'm hopeful that this is going to get better as people start kind of coming around. Now, again, there's also the political implications. What if the Biden administration does some crazy executive orders, or Congress continues to try to pass legislation and impact, taxes on ammo, primers, guns, and so on? Well, we're just going to have to fight that fight as it comes along, and hopefully folks like the NRA and Second Amendment Foundation and so on will step up big time and get injunctions in place and tie them up.
And, we won't dive down into the rabbit hole of politics, but directly related to what we're talking about, one of the things that they keep kicking around, and it's happened in California, as our California listeners know very well, you got to have a background check. And the Democrats would love to see that. I'm sorry, you have to have a background check to buy ammo. And the Democrats would love to see that across the country. And in your case, basically you'd have to do a background check on any student buying one round of ammo.
This people control thing that the Democrats, the liberals are after is just is stunning. Now, one of the other things that is to our advantage is Gunsite's always vetted our students. You have to have, for all practical purposes, a background check, whether it's a gun permit or you have a license that has had a background check, right? Some professional licenses require a background check, or you've got a TSA pre-check, things like that. So we're vetting our students as it is. So that doesn't mean I'm approving this, because I do not. The background check to buy ammo is just absolutely unconstitutional and just, well, it's stupid.
Stupid. Yeah, I was going to say, just let's say it's stupid.
It's just stupid. It's just a control measure on their parts and another way to try to tax and so on. But they got to, for all this money they're printing, these trillions, they've got to find some way to pay for it, I guess. So.
Yeah. So to wrap up this part of things, the ammo situation, bottom line is you guys are muddling through. You feel like things are, barring unforeseen circumstances, things are going to maybe come back around and you're just charging forward.
Yeah. I think it's, from what I've seen the last 3 weeks on numbers, prices of ammo, it's becoming more available, and the price is dropping some. It's not where it should be, but we're headed down that path. And again, let's go right back to a year ago with what they did with toilet paper and Lysol spray, and now it took a while, but it's come out of that.
Yep.
So unless that ammo was sitting on a ship in the Suez Canal that's last week. So
well, I saw where that could create a toilet paper crisis because they ship wood pulp through there, and it's like, we need more crisis in our lives, don't we?
Oh, yeah, and we're switching from winter gas to summer gas. And
Yeah.
more people are driving now, so that's why gas is $3 a gallon. And
Yeah, let's not go there.
But we digress.
Yes. Well, one thing that I hadn't planned on asking, but now that I'm sitting here thinking, last time you and I chatted, I don't remember when it was a couple of months ago, but we were talking about training. And since that time, you've had more and more of these as a group, I guess you'd say, new gun owners. Are you seeing any more new trends emerging, or is it pretty much what it's been so far?
It's what's really great is, again, these new gun owners are showing up. Before, our clientele, when they'd come take the 250 pistol class, they had some experience with guns. We had a few with very little. Now we're seeing more and more with very little experience with handguns, and that's good. We've had to kind of adapt the lesson plan to that just a little bit, but they still come out on the other end of the class really strong, and they're quite capable of defending themselves and their families. So we are seeing more and more of those. They're also more of a liberal mindset, and that's okay too. Now those folks are recognizing that, gosh, this Constitution, Bill of Rights, and Second Amendment is kind of important to me to be able to defend my family and myself. So it's an opportunity for us to bring them over from the dark side.
And they love it when you say that.
They do. And I make some jokes in the morning, and I'll say, now look, if you take offense to me making a Democrat joke or a Biden joke or whatever, throw a Republican joke or a Trump joke right back at me. It's okay. Yeah. We're adults here. We're having fun. This is adult education. We're open-minded. Nobody's being mean, foul, rude, crude. We're just having a good time. And the vast majority of them are good with that. Once in a while we get some folks that don't have that sense of humor, but they still come away learning a good skill set, and we hope we've had some positive impact on them in that way.
And that's why I love to keep coming to Gunsite. So,
and I'm Ken Campbell. I authorized
paid for it.
Oh no, wait, that was a prior life.
Yeah. And now a first for the Guns Magazine podcast. We've actually got a breaking news scoop that we are the first media outlet to report this, and your payment will be in the mail soon, Ken. But no, you guys have some some cool news. You've made a change.
We've got some exciting news here, and this is actually April 1, and this is not an April Fool joke.
Yeah.
Gunsite has been here 45 plus years, and the first gunsmith here was a guy named Robbie Barkman. If you ever heard the name Robar, that was Robbie.
Yep.
And we've been blessed with tremendous gunsmiths over the years. People like Robbie Barkman, Kit Carson, Ted Yost, and most recently Mike Moore, tack drivers. He was the gunsmith here for, probably 10 years or so. Well, Mike's had some health issues these last few years, and he decided a few months ago it's time for him to retire from gunsmithing, from being the Gunsite gunsmith. He still teaches for us, especially long-range rifle. He's one of those good guys with that. But Mike, effective yesterday, had concluded his business as the Gunsite gunsmith. And I was just over before we were speaking here on the phone. I was just over talking with the new Gunsite gunsmith. And we're proud to announce through Guns Magazine that Tyler Gunworks, Bobby Tyler out of Texas, and Finks Custom Gunsmithing out of Prescott, Arizona, have partnered up here, and they are now operating the Gunsite gunsmith. Bobby, of course, Brent. Yep. He's done work for you. He's done work for me. He's done a tremendous project, a joint project for you and I.
Yep. And we've interviewed him on the podcast.
He's done everything from just fixing guns, selling guns, to custom engraving and so on. Well, so that's a huge benefit. And then Dave Fink's been doing work for Bobby the last several years, and Dave's out of Prescott. I think some of the work he did was called the Blues Brothers, because he was doing some blues work, not the kind that you and your so-called band would do.
So-called.
But that's another podcast altogether.
Yeah.
So these guys are over there. They're moving equipment in this morning, and they should be up and running full speed in about a week. So Gunsite is we're sad to see Mike go. Again, Mike was a great gunsmith here, did good work for us, and we're sorry that the health issues, I think, kind of pushed him into a retirement a little earlier than what he planned there. But we're not going to slow down. That's one of the great opportunities when you come here to Gunsite. You're learning from the best. We've got a cool pro shop that you'll spend way too much money in, but if your gun fails, something goes wrong, we've got somebody who can work on that for you. We stop everything we're doing and get that gun to you. I'll give you another example, and I'm going to plug another one of our great vendors here. Yesterday, we had some clients show up for a private class, and the holster he brought was just not workable. It was not safe. We didn't have one in the pro shop for him. So I called our buddy Rob Leahy with Simply Rugged and said, I need a holster for this make and model of pistol. He says, when do you need it? And I said, I'm pulling out a Gunsite right now. 20 minutes later, I pulled in his shop. He says, we got to talk a few minutes because the dye's got to dry a little bit more. And wow. I left, after a cup of coffee later. So an hour, 90 minutes after the client said, this holster won't work, I got him a brand spanking new Simply Rugged holster and mag pouch for his gun.
Wow.
But that's the kind of service we can provide here. And that's the kind of service Dave Fink and Bobby Tyler will offer in the gunsmith. Something goes wrong with your gun, they'll run down to the range, grab it, pick it up, bring it back, or you can bring it in at lunch. They'll work on it, or you leave it overnight, whether it's new sights, trigger job. So we're real proud to have them as our new partners. And I know Bobby and Dave look forward to sitting down with you and doing a podcast talking about what all they can offer here.
Yeah,
but
that would be great.
First right here, Guns Magazine. Sometimes it's good to know somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've said
yes, I'll accept a fine bottle of bourbon when you come out.
Well, that's a given. Come on, you know that. No, I know. I've interviewed Bobby before, like I said, and you mentioned he's done a really cool gun project for us that will see the light of day in Guns Magazine before too long. I met Dave, I think the last time I was out there. It's been, it's been almost a year since I was actually there. It was, oh my God, hot. Of course, it's a dry heat, as you say, just, an oven is too. But anyway, met Dave in the event I was out, and it seemed like a really good, solid, humble guy. He's younger. He's not a grizzled old white guy, I guess you would say, but he seems to really know his stuff. And the fact that Bobby Tyler believes in him, that's good enough for me. So really looking forward to getting to know him better.
Well, we're excited here about having, we're sad to see Mike go, but we're excited about having the next generation of gunsmiths. Again, we started with the likes of people like Robbie Barkman, who was one of the first gunsmiths here, and another name escapes me here. Shame on me. But there have been so many over the years, but they've gone on to great careers. It's not that Gunsite gunsmithing isn't enough, but they've gone on out on their own and done great things. So we're real proud to be a part of course, Tyler Gunworks, and then the up and comer with Dave Fink and the work he and his staff do.
Very cool. Well, you got any other hot gossip that you want to share?
Probably not for this podcast.
One of these days, we're going to record something, maybe have some of that Kentucky holy water. I got to say, and we're getting off topic here, but I just had to find some pictures and, going through my back catalog of photos, and I ran across some we were backpacking and, and then some where we were shooting. And boy, that is such a fun such a fun walk down memory lane. And one of these days we need to just sit down and start telling the G and PG rated stories, and I would hope folks would find them entertaining, or at least go, what a bunch of idiots, I'll never do that. So
yeah that's okay. That's educational for them at that point.
Exactly.
So
we've always strived to be a good example of a bad example, or at least I have.
You don't hear me denying it.
Exactly. Well, Ken, thanks for talking to us about that. Like I said, it was great that one of our listeners wanted to know that. I think you pretty much, actually, you're a terrible interview because I've got this list of questions I wanted to ask you, and you pretty much hit them all. It's like you've done interviews before, so.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the kind words along in there. I appreciate the question coming from the listener, the one that you have. And
I have two.
You got other questions?
Mom and Dad.
Surely, I suppose, once in a while, your wife.
Surely never listens.
If you've got questions, fire them off to Brent or fire them off to me, Ken at gunsite.com, Ken at Gunsite, GUNSITE.com, and I'm happy to try to answer questions about Gunsite and training and life in general. I'll give you the best answer I can. Brent will make something up.
Yes.
So,
wow. See, you just did it again. That was going to close with, how do they find out about Gunsite and all that? And you did it. So.
Well, again, I'm Ken Campbell. I authorize and pay for this commercial. I'd appreciate your support on Election Day.
Oh, geez. Okay, well, we both have to go back to work, and I got to get this thing edited, so it'll go up. This will actually go up tomorrow on the 2nd of April. No April Fools, and we'll share your big news. So, hey, thanks for talking to us, and I'm sure we'll be doing it in the very near future.
Hey, looking forward to that, and like I close everything, when are you coming to Gunsite?
I always have a good time talking with my old buddy Ken, and I'm really looking forward to my next trip in a few months out to Gunsite. And with that, we hope you're enjoying the Guns Magazine podcast. Please tell all your friends, even those humor-impaired liberals. Guns Magazine was first in the business, and we're using our decades of friendships to bring you the most interesting chats in the gun world. If you've got questions or comments about the show, please email me. That's editor@gunsmagazine.com. Make sure you don't miss out on anything by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast catcher, YouTube, and of course at gunsmagazine.com. And while you're online, don't forget to check out our great sister publication, American Handgunner Magazine, at where? AmericanHandgunner.com. We and I would also appreciate it if you'd share a favorite episode or some kind words on your own social media channels. And finally, I'd like to remind you to check out our sponsor, the guys and gals who really know accuracy at Berger Bullets. Learn more at bergerbullets.com. That's it for this episode of the Guns Magazine podcast. For the entire staff at FMG Publications, I'm Guns Magazine editor Brent Wheat. Now get out there and get shooting.